Good evening. Welcome back, my viewers on Corpus Classic, ACBN TV. Here again is Pastor Funke, your regular host, and we are back today to discuss another topic, and I have a couple with me here today, a very, very special couple. Very shortly, I'm going to introduce them, or rather, they will also talk about themselves so that we can get to meet them properly. Now, before we do that, we want to look at the topic, tips for a long-lasting marriage. Tips for a long-lasting marriage. We know what is out there right now. A lot of marriages are packing up, not just people, celebrities or people from the other divide when it comes to religion and all that. But Christians also are in it. And of course, the Bible says God hates divorce. What could be the cause of the spate of, the rate of divorce that we experience today? By God's grace, we want to use this medium to address them. And we want to look at a couple's own their own story, how they have been able to stay in marriage and in love for the number of years they have been together. And with me today is a very senior pastor in Christ Apostolic Church. In fact, it's an honor. I have with me Pastor C.Aluko of Christ Apostolic Church. He is the DCC Superintendent of Christ Apostolic Church, Yaba. He's married to Mrs. Bukola Dorcas Oludare, and they got married on the 12th of August 2000. Okay, and of course they are blessed with 4 godly children. They are with me today to look at this topic and to also loan their voice, to also talk to us couples out there that it is quite very, very possible to stay with just one man, to stay with just one woman for as long as possible. Please stay tuned with me, and I'd like us to journey together. But before we move on with today's topic, I'd like them to introduce themselves properly. I've told you that much I know about them, but they're going to talk to us. Let us know who they really are. Sir, let me start from you. You are the head of the family, yes? You're welcome, please. Yes. Can we meet you properly, sir?
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, viewers at home and anywhere all over the world from where you be watching us. I am Pastor C.Aluko. I am the DCC Superintendent of Christ Apostolic Church, Yaba District Coordinating Council. It's one of our major churches in Lagos.
Okay.
And I was born on the 1st of November, 1970.
Wow.
So on the 1st of November this year I'm going to be 48 years old.
Okay.
We are blessed with children, Angela Lua, Samuel Fumidola, and Munyo Lua.
Okay.
It's been a wonderful time being with my wonderful and beautiful wife.
Yes,
And
his wife is right beside me here. I'm sorry I'm sitting in between. That's because I'm the host of this program, right? I hope we are permitted to do that for now.
You're welcome,
Okay.
you're welcome.
All right. So that's Pastor C himself talking to us. Now we want to meet the woman behind this success. Can we get to meet you properly?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome, please.
Yeah, good evening, viewers, once again. I'm Mrs. Bukola Oludare. I'm a retired teacher.
Oh.
And I'm proud to be a pastor's wife.
Ah.
I've been married to this young man for 18 years now.
Did you say old man or young?
I said young man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm really enjoying myself. With
Oh, you are really enjoying yourself. For how many years now? You're from
18
the year
years.
18 years.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, you talked about being married to him and you're enjoying your life. Let's hear your story. Let's start from you. How did you get to meet him, and what was it like?
Actually, while I was in Form 3 in my secondary school.
All the way in Form 3?
No, I didn't meet him then.
Oh.
But I started praying that I was going to marry a pastor.
Okay.
But my late father was a pastor himself.
All right.
And when I got to UI, I met him in UI.
You don't mean you're from UI? You finished from UI?
Not really. I had my master's in UI.
Wow.
I was supposed to have my first degree in UI, but I had some problems then.
Okay.
So that was the first time I saw him. I saw him in UI. He was a student of my father. My father was an associate prof in UI then.
Wow.
He was even the class rep of his class.
You don't mean it.
I actually met him in our house. He came to see his lecturer then. That's my father.
Wow.
And I just saw him from afar.
And
not that. Sincerely, the Lord spoke to me.
wow.
I was in the kitchen, and the Spirit of the Lord told me, just go to the sitting room. There's a young man waiting to see your dad. He's going to be your husband. I went there, I looked at him. Sincerely, I've had 3 things in mind about the man I wanted to marry.
Okay.
I wanted a fair man. I wanted a tall person. And I wanted somebody that uses glasses.
Oh,
I got to
Christ.
the sitting room, was black.
He
Wow.
was dark, but he's tall.
Yeah, not really tall. I
Not
would have
as much
loved
as
a
what you
taller
wanted.
person,
Wow.
According to my own conditions. I just looked at him, but I
Okay.
couldn't tell him, I just kept it within myself, and
Okay.
I was praying until he finally came.
And he came.
He did come.
Wow. And immediately, was it that you knew her before you went to visit your lecturer? Or was it because of her you went to visit your lecturer?
No, actually, she's talked about an issue that happened.
Okay.
We were supposed to be in the University of Ibadan together the same year,
Okay.
but the father, she's the daughter of late Associate Professor Samuel Babatunde Mala. Her name already appeared on the admission list in the University of Ibadan to study economics. She already was arranging herself for hostel accommodation in UI, only to discover that her name had disappeared from the list.
Suddenly.
The admission list that was pasted.
Wow.
Maybe the people that did it, seeing the name Mala, it didn't really ring a bell. Maybe they thought it was one of these northerners or whatever. Maybe nobody. And the father was a lecturer in the university, so the name was removed from the list, and the list was already sent to JAMB, and the Senate had approved it. So she couldn't continue with us in University of Ibadan. But the very first day I saw her, I didn't know it. She was in company of one other lady that I knew, the daughter of one of our pastors, Pastor Rogun. I knew that one, but I didn't know her. I was coming from her father's office. Okay. So I met them going upstairs. I knew they would be going to see Pastor Mala. So I was telling them that, oh, Pastor Mala is not around. And she told me, oh, that's my dad. Oh, that was when I realized that I was even talking to this daughter of Pastor Mala. But she now went to Osua. She now took another jump and went to Osua. The Osua then is now the ex or whatever Ekiti State University. It was Ondo State University then. Okay. So she went to Ekiti State University then. And then I continued. But in 200 level, the father didn't teach us in 100 level. The father now started teaching us in 200 level. Right. So I now became the class rep of our father in 200 level in the University of Ibadan. Wow. And then we lived in Bodija with my aunt. I didn't know where he lived then. But one Sunday morning, I went out of my house. We just got to Bodija, and I was trying to look for a Christ Apostolic Church where I could worship. So I was walking down Are Avenue in Bodija. Okay. And I ran into my lecturer. He was driving back home. And I said, Ogbeni, where are you going to? I said, I'm going to look for a church where I'm going to worship. He said, which church? I said, CAC. He said, oh, there's one behind my house. So he was the one that took me to his house. Oh. Not that I went to look for the daughter. Okay. I went there, and I was already an evangelist of the Christ Apostolic Church. So I needed a place to worship, and I needed a place to continue to worship, now being new in Bodija. Okay. So he was the one that took me to his house. On getting to the house, I started with them. We were worshiping. She was in Osua then. Okay. She was not at home. So she came back home one of these long strike. Was it this 6 months strike then?
Okay.
There was a strike.
That was
then.
What year was that now?
Then that should be 1993.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it was this last strike or whatever.
Yes.
So she came home, and then I came to see my lecturer, to whom I was the class rep. Then they used to provide the handouts. We do cyclostyling, or what do they call this one that they roll and roll and roll. So I had gone to roll so many handouts. I brought them home for him to see. Then I'll be the one to sell and collect the money and give to him. That was when I now got to know that the lady I met last year on the staircase at the University of Ibadan Faculty of Arts, Religious Studies Department, actually lives in that house. Sincerely, I went there. on a very neutral ground, but I never knew God was preparing me to meet the wife I'll be married. And we courted for 7 years. You won't believe it?
7 years.
7 years, and we've married for 18 years now. So 25 years, still kicking, still on.
Still enjoying.
and
with the way you're talking, I believe you're also enjoying her just like she said.
Oh, great. You know,
Wonderful.
she just called me a young man now. We play like kids.
That's it. Exactly. That's a good one. I wish my tambourine is here. I would have just celebrated you. It's worth celebration. You're welcome. Nice having you here. Now we are looking at tips for long-lasting, marriage, and of course, you are in it already. Looking at the number of years you spent together, and you're still counting. Now, before we look at those tips, and then trying to marry them to your own experience, let's look at marriage, for instance. What is marriage? What would you like to tell my audience that marriage is? How do you define marriage?
So many definitions have been given to marriage.
Okay.
There's none that is really all encompassing.
Okay.
But marriage, when you talk about marriage again, you talk about a Christian marriage.
Okay.
Christian marriage, to me, to my own understanding, is the coming together of two people of the opposite sex. Today now we begin to have gay marriage and all these homosexuals of the opposite sex, a man and a woman.
And they have to be human beings.
Yes, human beings. A young man and a young woman coming together as ordained of the Lord to form a home that will glorify God and to produce children, if God permits it, to produce children that will be brought up in the knowledge of God. The coming together of two people of opposite sex that are coming together to form a home to give glory to the Lord. That's where I can describe marriage.
And you also said something, to come together to produce children, if God permits it. So there are times when God doesn't permit childbearing in maybe a particular marriage or something.
It is not impossible for whatever reason. Okay. You see, when in the course of our discussion, we'll see that barrenness has been one of the major causes for marriages not lasting. People are broken up because some people even break up because the wife is having a particular sex of children, or because they don't have children at all.
Okay.
But the childbearing is part of the reason for marriage, but that is not the major reason for coming together. If God gives them children, good, and they give glory to God. And if it's not forthcoming, they should hope it will come one day if the Lord permits. Everything has to do with the will of God. If it is the will of God for them to have children, they will have it. And if they are not having, God has a reason for bringing them together.
So everything has to do with what God permits. For those of you who are watching us, we are on the topic tips for long-lasting marriage. If you have been married for a while and you are yet to get your own children, you need to wait on God. God's timing and God's design supersedes every other person's desire. Alright, so we are still on tips for long-lasting marriage. And with me on set is Pastor Oludare and his lovely wife of 18 years. Okay, and we are here on set. We would like you to be part of this discussion, just in case you have questions or you have your contributions, to add to what the discussion is all about today. Please, there will be some numbers displayed on the screen. Please do call us and be part of this discussion. Thank you very much. Okay, now we want to look at those tips, one after the other. What are the tips that helps marriages to experience longevity, based on your own experience as well?
Thank you very much.
Can we start out with them now?
See, for everything that will last, the foundation is very, very important.
Okay.
anything that will last depends on the foundation.
Okay.
When you look at a house that is sinking or collapsing today, it is the foundation that matters. And you know, one thing that I've come to realize about buildings is that foundations don't really collapse until you put a structure on them. So when you put up a foundation that is not fine, you may not know the foundation is wrong until you put something on. You know, let me not say you may not know. If you contract your job to a contractor to help you build a house, and he has done the foundation, you may not be sure until they start putting blocks, putting wood, putting roof on it, before you know that the foundation is faulty. But when it comes to the issue of marriage, you are the one that is involved. You don't contract your marriage to someone. So when you are talking about a marriage that is going to last long, it is necessary that you put it upon a solid foundation. And that foundation is, number one, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the foundation that makes marriages to work and to make it last. You may want to ask me a question, that what of pastors, what of highly religious people that are breaking up today?
I was going to ask you that question.
Sincerely, I knew that would come. But you know, that somebody is a pastor, that somebody is a Sunday school teacher, that somebody sings in the choir, does not mean he knows the Lord. You know, when you are talking about a foundation, there are some things that the way you look at it from the outside. When you contract the job to a contractor and has cemented everything, you may not know that the rod, the iron rod, the materials used are not the good and the quality one. We have been deceived by a lot of things that we see today, even in the body of Christ. A lot of deceit take place, and you think that this is real, but it is not the real thing. So Jesus Christ is the number one foundation. Now when you talk about love, you talk about the trust and other things, God himself is love. God himself. So when you allow God to take charge of it, you know, one of the problems we have in our society today is that we are hiding under religiosity. And I think that's one of the major faults that our marriages are having today. We are hiding under religiosity. You know, in those days, when our parents want to marry, they took time to study. They even appoint, in the Yoruba setting, they call some people alarino, that is an intermediary. Somebody that will be going, that is not an, you know, when you play football, look at the people like JJ, even Messi, all these great players, when they are playing, and a novice, a non-footballer will be saying, oh, you should have played it that way, you should have passed to the other person. Because when you are in the field of play, you don't see like those who are watching from outside. So the person that is going to be involved in the marriage relationship may not see the fault of the other one. So that's why in those days, our fathers, we appoint people to go and study the family, to get to know the family very well. A lot of us today, we just meet in church. Oh, he's a member of the choir. Oh, he's a man. I want to marry him. But we don't even know them up to their houses. Somebody is here in Lagos, meets a young lady from the eastern part of the country. He doesn't know the family. He doesn't know the idol they worship there. He don't know much about them. He just know, I want to marry. Some people, they will never meet their in-law until maybe 2 months to the wedding. When the man insists that you must bring that boy, I want to meet him, then just take him home. He meets him the next 1 month. They are going for the traditional marriage and things like that.
I think I have a call now.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like I've lost that call.
I'm sorry. So let me just continue.
Are you still there? Paul from Ibadan, are you there? All right, so let's go on.
So there's a need for people to take time. When you make Jesus the foundation, then there are some other things that you need to do also. But the foundation is the most important. So when you make Jesus the foundation, then don't overlook those things that are necessary. Even if your parents are not Christians, they have a lot of experience more than you do. You should carry them along.
Okay, now before we move on to that, you know, I like us to establish the first point or the first tip that has been established here. Okay, the pastor is saying that the first tip for long-lasting marriage is for those who are coming together to be married to understand the fact that marriage is first of all God's idea.
Sure.
I just want to
I think
encourage my sister, Reverend Funke.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Rather, good evening, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. God bless you, man.
Amen, sir. Am I on to Pastor Paul from Ibadan, sir?
Just to encourage you, I'm Pastor Paul Olaniyan.
It's nice having you on set with me. Thank you so much, sir. That's a good surprise for me, sir.
We want to bless God for the good work you are doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
And we believe the Lord will begin to strengthen and help you in Jesus' name.
Amen, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you once again. Thanks for calling. Okay. All right. So, from what the pastor has established, it's important for couples to know that, marriage is basically God's idea. So, being in marriage without that understanding, of course, that marriage definitely will not last. So, I think that's the first thing you have just established. And I think you're talking about the second tip. In fact, you also, injected it somewhat, that people should try to know the person they are getting married to, especially where the person is from, because a lot of things we are seeing today, people just meet themselves maybe in church or meet themselves in the city location, on the road, in the bus, and they just say, oh, I love him or I love her, and they just end up getting married without getting to know who they are actually married to. You don't know the family history, you don't know, whatever it is that is the story. My mother is from the eastern part of this country, and there's something they call EJD. That's to say that the lady before the person, the lady comes in.
I just want to thank the woman of God and just appreciate what God is doing through her on Instagram TV, blessing the lives of people, and I just want to wish her more grace in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen. Thank you, my Reverend. Thank you, Reverend Daniel from Shagamu. We really appreciate your call, sir. Thank you. All right. So, well, you can go on, sir.
So then I was now trying to talk about when we are laying this foundation, there are some people that needs to be carried along.
Okay.
I remembered after I saw my wife in her daddy's house that time, and I knew some things were already going on within me.
Okay.
I told my father. My father was pastoring in Owerri then.
Oh, okay.
He came to Ibadan.
So you're both, Levites.
Yeah, my father too was a pastor.
Yeah.
So he came to visit me in Ibadan.
Okay.
And I told him. Then I was 23, and I felt I never had a girlfriend in my life. I was never involved in all these things that young men were doing. So I felt at 23 was this type of thought that was coming to my mind. I hope it is not the devil. So I had to tell my dad. I said, Daddy, there's this thing that is coming to my mind. There's this daughter of my lecturer. And I explained to him. And I said, Daddy, please, I want to ask 2 questions. Okay. I hope I'm not too young to begin to think about these things. 2, how am I going to tell her? My father just laughed and said, if I should tell you how I told your mother 30 years ago, it will not work, because you are talking about a daughter of a professor and an undergraduate.
All right.
And then 2, you are not too young. You are not going to marry her tomorrow. If you want to tell her now, so that she can begin to plan and prepare for your future. And by the grace of God,
and she was how old then?
She was 20. Yep. 20. She was 20. I was 23.
Okay.
She was 20. I was 23. And she was in the university. I was in UI. Then it's 200 level. So my father encouraged me to tell her after. Then you know one thing my father did say? Tomorrow, he will take me to their house. He's a pastor that he will go as if he's going to greet a fellow pastor. That is the father. So in the course of greeting, then I'll be able to point out the lady to him. Okay. He went with me. He saw her. Then when we got back home, he said, the lady looks young. Are you sure she's up to 20? I said, yes, she's 20. Then he prayed with me and gave me a go-ahead to talk to her. And I did, and from the onset, I had carried along those who needed to be carried along. See, in every marriage relationship, your husband or your wife must have somebody that he fears and honors. That you can call up if there's any serious matter that you cannot set. There are some issues in the home. When we are just going to discuss some other areas There are some issues at home that you cannot solve by
yourself.
reporting your wife to the mother or to the father. You make it, it's going to make a blunder of the whole thing.
Definitely.
There are some people that your wife that she respects. In case the matter becomes so tough that you cannot handle on your own, that you can just call, Daddy, this is what your daughter has done. Not the biological father now. And the man can just pick up his phone and call your wife, hello, and call her by name. Say, yes, sir. What did I hear? But I want to sing you my house first tomorrow morning. She will just say, yes, sir. And whatever that man or woman tells her, she will. It helps the home. But this type of people are supposed to be carried along from the onset.
From what the pastor has just said, it becomes important for us to understand that one of the tips for long-lasting marriage is that there should be someone, within
like a mentor.
A mentor. It could be a spiritual mentor. It could be from the family, setting. Someone that either of them, respect, so that just in case there are issues they both cannot handle by themselves, such people can come in to assist. And I think I agree with you, sir. Let's also hear from you the tips. I think Pastor has mentioned about 3 tips here today. What are those tips from the woman's angle you feel it's those tips people should consider that will help them stay very long with their partners?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Another tip I want to chip in is the tip of honesty.
Honesty.
The 2 parties, they really need to be honest with each other. They should be open and not hide anything for each other, no matter what it is.
No matter what it is. Well, from what point can they be that open to themselves?
Yeah. By the time they have spent some time with each other,
as in maybe during courtship?
Yeah, during courtship. At least the lady would have studied the man to know whether emotionally he can handle this situation. And that's why, after studying him, and I think he should be able to handle this. The lady could have had a child in the past. She could have aborted a pregnancy or 2. And maybe in the course of that discussion, she has discovered that I think this man is matured enough. She'll be able to handle this situation.
And if she discovers that the man is not mature enough to handle it,
then she may not bother to tell him. She could just tell the pastor and let the pastor know what she has gone through. That in case anything happens in future, it will be like a covering for her. That she has confided
in some people.
In her pastor.
So overall, what you're trying to say is that from the onset, the people coming together or a couple should be sincere. They should open up, let their partners know what
they have gone through in the
what
past.
they have gone through, or what is currently going on.
Exactly.
Because a lot of marriages are really suffering because of such things, where the man is always hiding something, the woman is hiding something. Whoa, especially with this modern age of, will I say, internet tech. Exactly. Okay, and it's actually doing a lot of havoc in homes. All right, I think I quite agree with you, Mrs. Oludare. What other tips, ma'am?
Yeah, another one is humility.
Humility.
While they are in courtship, the lady would have observed that this man is a very humble person. Maybe anytime he comes to see the parents or he comes to their house, the way he's going to prostrate, the way he's going to greet people. There's some people that even if you are going to a place for the first time and the person does not know you, he sees you and says, hello. And the next thing he bones. But when he sees you, how are you, young lady? Can I meet you? I'm Frank. What's your name? Oh, my name is Cynthia. Oh, you must be in a primary school. What class are you? What's the name of your teacher? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
So it's like you see him is homely. You know that this person is going to be a very humble person. But there are people that when you meet them, the way they talk to you, maybe they beef up. That's the language people use now. They beef and they make you feel, my father is a rich person. I'm the son of a governor. I'm the son of a senator. And by the time he talks to you, he talks to you as if he's ordering you around. That you have to take instructions from him, whether you like it or not, whether it is convenient for you or not. So, but the 2 of them must be very humble. they must stoop down for each other. Though it may not really be easy.
Okay.
I mean, just considering the place from which the man is coming from, and also considering the place from which the lady is coming from. So they need to put aside whatever ambition or whatever achievements they had in the past. Yeah, they need to let those ones aside and face each other. We're going to marry each other. So let's calm down.
Class. And all
class,
that.
exactly. You know, so let's calm down. Maybe the lady is a lawyer or she's a barrister, and when she's in the law court, there's a way she addresses her audience. She can't come to the house and start talking to the man she wants to marry like that. So she needs to humble herself.
Okay.
And the man too needs to calm down. By the time the two of them are humble, they're going to have a long-lasting
So
marriage.
what you're saying is that in marriage, for a marriage to last long, both people should be humble to themselves. I think I agree with that too. You know, it's important because so many times we see, you know, class, you know, status coming in between couples, and it's causing a lot of issues. Well, we are still on Couples Classic discussing tips for long-lasting marriage. And with me on set has been Pastor Oludare from CAC. He's Yaba, the district superintendent, and he's here with his lovely wife. Very, very lively couple, and I want to believe that we are all enjoying this talk show. We are still expecting calls from you over there. You need to ask questions or add voice to what we are discussing here today so that the discussion today will be complete. Numbers to call are displayed on the screen. We are going to go on break very shortly, and when we come back, we will continue with this discussion. Please don't go away. Thank you. Discussing tips for long-lasting marriage, and with me on set today has been Pastor Oludare. In fact, he's called Pastor C. I was going to ask the reason why that name, Pastor C, sir.
That's my name. Actually, when I was in the University of Ibadan, I was involved in some little politics on campus then.
Okay.
And you know, my names are Sunday Ebenezer Aduralere.
Okay, that's why it's
So for the purpose of all the
It captured everything.
and I became popular by that name, and thank God, even in the church, people now say sea never dry, and I thank God that the anointing is still flowing.
Praise God.
So I adopted that name, and it's been all the way.
All right.
All the way.
I think that side of the question has been answered, because I kept wondering why
Thank you very
that
much.
name, So, well, we are talking about tips for long-lasting marriage. And about 5 tips has been dropped here today. You gave us 3, and your wife gave us 2. So can we get some more tips? Tips that would help people stay long in marriage. It's not all about getting married. It's all about staying married until God comes.
That's right.
So let's hear more of those tips.
Thank you very much. The ones I have mentioned in just a few minutes ago are meant for those who are about to get married.
Okay.
Now we want to go into some other, those who are actually married. What are those things that will make the home to be joyous and lasting forever? You know, when I preach during marriage ceremonies, I always pray for them that you will never recover from this. Because it is, a lot of times we recover from that euphoria of wedding ceremony. During the wedding ceremony, everybody is happy, dancing,
Everybody's
and
happy.
in the next few hours, people start to recover from the old joy, and then they begin to see some other. But there are some things that must be put in place. Everything must be mutual.
Okay.
Number 1, in every home, the love must be mutual.
Mutual.
Yes, mutual love.
Okay.
The man must love the woman, and the woman must love the man.
It should not be one-sided.
It should not be one-sided. Like I always tell people, marry somebody you love, and be sure the person loves you.
Wow. Marry somebody you love and be sure the person loves you.
Because if you just marry somebody who loves you and you don't love that person, you're only playing with your life. You're playing with your future. So the love has to be mutual from both ends.
It has to be
It's
mutual.
not just the man, oh, he loves me. He's always telling, if you are dating someone and you are telling the person, I love you, and it is difficult for the person to reply that I love you too. You should be careful of such
an issue.
Marriage. 2, there must be mutual honesty between the two of them. The Bible says that the 2 were both naked and they were not ashamed. I preached at the wedding ceremony some time ago, and I called the title Naked Yet Not Ashamed.
Wow.
Nakedness is being open, totally open. Be honest. Some cars were stolen from some men in this nation, and the car will never be recovered because the man will not be honest with where he actually went to. He may be in Ibadan, and he told the wife, I'm going to my 2. And they stole the car in Ibadan. You will take a bus to Lagos first and go and report at my 2 that my car was stolen.
And it may not be recovered.
They will not recover because the vehicle would have been driven towards Shaki, and the police are guarding Semeboda. So there must be honesty. If there's going to be joy and long-lasting relationship, apart from love, there must be mutual honesty.
Honesty,
yes.
Sir. Talking about honesty,
Yeah.
Can you please tell us more about honesty?
Sincerely,
You're talking about
if you,
telling the wife or telling your partner,
Yes,
this is where you're going to. How
you know
about
one thing,
finance?
the day a woman discovers lies in you, that's the way you begin to lose your respect.
Please say it again, please,
The
sir.
day a woman discovers lies in that man, in the husband, that is the day the man starts to lose respect. So he has to be honest, even financially. If you have married your own wife, you have to be honest. Not that you say, I don't have money. She's asking for 500 now, you don't have money. Then you now turn off to petrol station and buy fuel of 5,000. The woman will know, okay, this man said he didn't have money when we're leaving home just now, and he's buying fuel of 5,000 naira. Some men will give their wife 2,000 naira for food at home, and then they will go outside and be eating in Mr. B. They take other friends and spend money. Honesty is one of the things that make the family, they love to last long. One thing I've come to realize about women is that if your wife knows that you are honest, When you say there's no money, and she knows truly there's no money, if she has money, she will give you. She will bring out the money. But a lot of times, we men have taught our wives to be dishonest.
Whoa, please say this again.
Yes, I say a lot of times, we men have taught our wives to be dishonest about their finances. That's why you say a woman will go and look for a way to buy land somewhere and be building her own private house, because he knows that the man is not faithful with his own money.
Wow.
He's using the money to go after some young girls. Then the woman will think that if I continue to give my money, some women give money to their husbands and they use it for other things. So mutual honesty must be there. My wife talked about humility the other time. It is not that the man will prostrate to it is part of humility to be able to accept your fault. A lot of times we men, we make mistakes and our wives are trying to point it out, then in our pride we will not agree. One thing I've come to realize about men is that women are gifted. They have, is it intuition we call it now, or inspiration? When a woman sees another woman walking too close to you and she's trying to complain, you'll be wondering sometimes that when this woman comes, she didn't complain, another one is coming, she's complaining. It is the gift of God in them.
It is the gift of God.
We men will say, no, you're always thinking bad thoughts. It's not. And that man, behind his mind, he knows that actually some chemistry is actually going on.
Definitely.
He's not going to accept what the wife. It is humility that makes you to accept that, and what my wife is saying is true. Let me stop this thing that she's complaining about. But, in our pride, we not agree. So there must be mutual humility and respect. You should respect your wife, and your wife will respect. If Igbo man says, respect is reciprocal.
Exactly.
Another tip is patience.
Patience.
We have to be patient with one another. If I have not been patient with my wife in 18 years, we would have scattered the whole thing.
Exactly.
And if she's not patient with me, she would have packed out. No man is 100% good.
Wow.
You need to be patient. Yoruba call it suru. And they gave another that it is a patient man that can be the king in the northern kingdom. If you are not patient, you can't live with an impatient man cannot live with a woman. An impatient woman cannot live with a man. There's a need for patience. And then another tip is this issue of living and cleaving. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 22 verse 24 that for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. You see, this is one of the problems we have, especially with us in Africa here. I'm not saying we should do me and my husband alone, but to some extent, the man must stamp his ground. Once you get married, you must let your parents know that I am now married. Let me tell you one small story.
Please do, sir.
But after I just got married, and I think my wife had the first child, or she was still pregnant then. My father came from east to buy a car in Lagos, in Tokumboka. I arranged a driver to drive him to Owerri with his vehicle because he needed to do Thanksgiving with that car on Sunday in church. And the driver I arranged, I didn't know the driver didn't come. I went to do something else, and I came back home on Saturday afternoon by 11:30. I still met my father at home with his car. Daddy, you have not gone there. I didn't see the driver. I know it was not in the age of telephone. There was no telephone there to monitor that driver. And I thought, okay, and this man, they're already making us in a way that Baba is bringing motor for dedication in church on Sunday. People will be disappointed. And I told my dad, I said, okay, Daddy, don't worry. Let me drive you to Owerri now. It was almost 12
midnight.
No, 12 noon.
Sorry.
I said, I'll drive you to Owerri. I will not take a night bus back to Ibadan because I have to be in my own church again on Sunday. You can't believe I just took the vehicle, put it, cabled it on, and we went. I drove 8 hours from Ibadan to Owerri. As I parked the car, I said, Daddy, we have transport fare back to Ibadan. You know what my father said? He said, "You are not going tonight." What? I said, Daddy, the first thing I told him is that, I left my wife at home. I was angry immediately. That's the way he has always held us down, control us, he's in charge. But this time around, I made him to know. The only reason I gave is that, I have a wife at home, that I promised my wife I will not get up by 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So don't tell me that it was my mother that came and said, sorry. Just come upstairs, take bread and water, so that I will get money from you. My father went to his room and lay down. Thank God I had 4,000 in my pocket. I just felt I just eat the food my mother was going to give me and go back. There's a need for you when you are getting married. let them know that you are living, you want to clean with somebody else.
Exactly.
A mommy's baby cannot marry. If a man is still a mommy's baby, he will not make a good home. Be separate. You know, when I just got married to my wife, you know, the mother is a very homely person, loves to go to the market. My wife will still feel that, oh, my mother knows how to buy clothes more. Let's give mommy money to buy the clothes. Let's give mommy money to help us buy what. I said, no, let us go and be making the mistakes. Let's go and buy the wrong clothes. Let's go and buy the wrong elubo. Little by little, we will learn.
Okay.
And that's living and cleaving. And another thing I want to talk about is trust. You must be, if you don't trust someone else, you won't even trust yourself. And it is the person that does not trust the other person, that does not trust himself, that will not be, there must be mutual trust at home. If you have a houseboy and you put 200 naira on this table and goes to work, and you come back and the 200 naira is missing, and just shout, hey, what could it be the name of the houseboy now? Okon! Okon, I know you are the one that took this 200 naira here. You are a thief, you took this 200, it shows that you don't trust that boy. Maybe it was fan that blew it and the money is under the chair or under the table. The next time the boy finds any money anywhere, he will take it because already he knows you don't trust him. But if you say, I'm looking for my 200, I trust you cannot take my money. Who would have taken? I trust you. That word, trust you. If he finds your money next time, he'll come, mommy, I saw your money, and because you already made him know that you trust him. My wife was in Ibadan for many years, and I was here in Lagos. We were living separately. I only traveled by weekend. You know, she was traveling by weekend before she retired. I gave her my trust that my wife, I believe in you. You can be there alone. She believes in me, and I was here with the children, and she was going and coming. Today we are better for it. She has finally retired as a teacher with the Oyo State government, and she's staying with me fully here in Lagos. There must be mutual trust. And another area that makes marriage to last and last and last is the issue of sex. And I want to talk a little about this.
Okay. Well, before you go on with this very, very point, I think this point is a hit point in marriage because this is a point where a lot of couples would always say, I have problem here, I have problems there. We are talking about tips that helps marriages stay long, all right? And I have with me on set Pastor Oludare from CAC, the superintendent at Yaba. And he has been here with me with his wife, and we have mentioned quite a lot of tips, a lot of tips that will help marriages last long. Before you talk about the last tip that you have for today, I want you to also add your own voice to what has been said so far, or you have other tips that you need for us to look at. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Please hold on. Please, the numbers to call is still going to be displayed on the screen. You can give us a call to be part of this show. Add your own experience to what has been discussed so far. And God bless you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about perseverance.
Okay.
You know, in marriage, there's so many conditions that you face, so many challenges that come your way that may even affect your husband. The husband could lose his job. He could fall sick. Okay. And you have to just keep persevering. You have to stand by him because you have promised him till death do us part. So it's like you just have to stand by him. If he's sick, you have to go to the hospital with him, sit down. Sometimes you may even need to, you may have to take a permission from work, or you take your leave at work because you want to stay with your husband. So in his own hard times, you have to stand by him. Let him know you actually love him. The love you have been professing all this while, show it to him. Prove it to him that, my dear, I love you. We're in this together, and we're going to scale through it. The husband who needs to persevere with the woman. What if the woman doesn't have a child? They've been married for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. He needs to persevere. Trust in God that God can still do it. You shouldn't lose hope. In marriage, if there's no perseverance on the side of a man, on the side of a woman, then it wouldn't last. Another thing I quickly want to chip in is contentment. Man may be the type that has a lot of money, and what if he doesn't have so much money? So the woman has to be contented with whatever the husband gives to her. She mustn't compare herself, even with other women. Now, don't you see what Mr. Agbaja is giving to his wife? I want to be like other women. No. Women should not do this. They need to be contented with the little their husband the little their husband can provide for them. Same thing applies to the man too. He doesn't want to copy his friends. I want to be like this man. I want to be like that man. And he knows the type of job he's doing. You're collecting a salary of 200,000. I want to buy a vehicle of 1 million. How possible is that? So the man also needs to be contented. Whatever the wife can give to him, he should be satisfied with it. And the same thing happens to the woman. She too must be contented with the little the husband is able to provide for the family.
Wonderful. The woman should learn to be contented. In fact, both of them should learn to be contented. This is very important. We have just a few minutes to call it a day. Now, talking about sex.
Thank you very much. This is coming last. I'm sorry we don't have all the time.
Okay.
But I have come to realize that one of the major things that is causing disunity and possible breakup in the home is sex. One, the misuse of it. Misuse in the sense that doing it with the wrong people after one is married, that's a misuse of sex. And then inability to perform to the expectation of the other one, either from the man's end or from the woman's end, could cause breakdown in the home too. You see, one thing I have come to know in my own church, the Christ Apostolic Church, when we hold wedding ceremonies, we read the marriage creed says there are 3 reasons why marriages are contracted. 1, mutual companionship. 2, to avoid fornication, you should marry. 3, because of childbearing. Now, the mutual companionship, let us remove it from it that, okay, it's not involving sex, just for mutual companionship. But when you talk about avoidance of fornication and adultery, marry your own wife, you are married so that you can have sex. Then for childbearing, how do you bear children if not by having sex? So it means 66.6% reason, according to that creed, for marriage reason is sex. And that is why the Bible calls it defrauding. You read the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, it says, a man should not defraud the wife, and the wife also should not defraud the husband. Now, when somebody is fraudulent, when he's arrested by EFCC, either he goes to jail or he goes to prison or he's, firing squad or whatever the case may be. So, sex is very, very important. It's the actual becoming one flesh. That's what the Bible says in that 1 Corinthians, that if a man goes to sleep with a prostitute, they become one flesh. So, it is the sexual intercourse in a home is actually an aspect whereby you are expected to become one flesh with you and your husband. And the more you involve in it, the right time, the right way, satisfying each other, then you are sure that the home will continue to be sweet. When you see couples that have quality sex, when they come out laughing and they are happy. When you see a man that is not happy with the wife and they can't tell you why they are not happy, go and search very well. It could be sex. I pray that God will help our homes to be well united and well grounded in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my pastor. Thank you, Pastor Oludari. And Mrs. Oludari, thank you so much. You've made my day, and I'm sure all those who watched today's edition. Part of what will help you stay long with your partner is that you remain faithful as well. Faithfulness in marriage. Okay? Do not defraud your partner. Do not cheat on your partner, because those are the things that would make that marriage not to last long. And just like the pastor have prayed, our prayer is that marriages will experience the sweetness that should be experienced in marriage. Because at the end of it, your marriage can either lead you to hell or lead you to heaven. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching today's edition. Thank you also, Pastor Oludari.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate your presence. I appreciate your coming. All right? We really appreciate you. We hope when we call you again, we have you come back here on set. Thank you also, Mrs. Oludari. Thank you for joining. Thank you, CAC, for releasing your pastors. We really appreciate you. For those of you who love what we are doing and you want to be part of the success story, you can advertise or sponsor us. Please call 080-2222-1286. Thank you. See you next week, and God bless you.